Okay, week 14 coding assignment. We are going to add and modify pet stores to our pet store table. So we'll take a look here, starting at the pet store data table. A couple of things here. I know that the instructions said to use sets from employees and customers. I have those here, but I was having issues getting the for loops to work. Kept getting, reg squiggly errors. Couldn't quite get that figured out. Uh, so I commented those out and I just added them as uh, just normal elements with pet store employees, and pet store customers, since they weren't being added anyways this time around. And also in here, we do have the subclasses for pet store customer and pet store employee. The one issue I did have is I believe the first few times I ran this, I forgot to add pet store state. So that has affected the way that the pet stores are being added. So after that, we have the DAO, which isn't much to see here. Then we can take a look at service where we have it annotated as at service. And we have the find or create pet store method, define pet store by ID, copy pet store fields, and the save pet store information here. So we have all these methods here on the service tab for the service class. On the controller class, now we'll have our methods to actually inject the pet store. We have the request mapping to pet store, and we have the post mapping also to pet store. So if we look in dbeaver, the project and the table are both pet store. Insert pet store takes a pet store data object and returns with the save method. We have the response status of created. So I've already added a few in dbeaver, or added a few tables. We can see them in dbeaver here. See the state is null, even though that update has been made. So why don't we go ahead and add another pet store? So I have one queued up here. And if we come here, we have it. We have our headers, accept, content, body. We have our host, 8080, pet store. Let's paste this in here. And the last thing we will do before we submit this is we will run the application, establish the connection. And now we got that going. We come back here. So yeah, pet store state keeps coming back null. I'm not sure what that is. It's something I'll have to review. Looks fine in here. Yeah, that's something I'll have to check. But we also need to modify. So why don't we just come here and we go dbeaver and refresh. Okay. So customer address. I've noticed another issue where address is just doing the pet store city, so that's also an issue to review. Let's see if we can update that. We'll pick let's do the one we just did. So we come here /4 and let's change bird store to fish store and leave everything else the same. And we'll change this to a put operation. And if we submit, let's try that again. All right, we can see the fish store here. So hopefully if we go back to dbeaver and we refresh, we can see that the now is Ski Town Fish Store instead of Ski Town. I believe it was Bird Store before. Yeah. So we can see that the create a table and modify a table are working. The last part of the assignment was the handler. Not gonna lie, guys. I'm just gonna stop this. Not gonna lie. The instruction was a little weird. Looking at how we did it with Dr. Rob in class, we had the exceptions here. We'd have to add the build exception handler. But the assignment called for maps and different elements and creating lists. Wasn't really sure how to go about doing that. Was an example we hadn't really seen. So that's something this week I'll have to go back and review once the assignment's been posted and see how that coding actually went, and also review to see what the issues are with my code with the state populating as null and the address populating with the city instead of the address. So a couple things to work on with this code. But for the most part, it's working as expected with just these minor issues.